Hi, and welcome to COVID-19 parenting and to 2021. What a year it has been already. I'm Julie Jobak. I'm the counselor at Arroyo.
And I'm Teresa Wace. I'm a marriage and family therapist in downtown San Carlos. I also work on the mental health team here in the San Carlos School District.
And today we wanted to talk a little bit about what happened at the Capitol and what we can do as adults in terms of taking care of ourselves and then also taking care of our kids and how to talk to them about what has happened, because a lot of us have huge emotions about what's going on, and it's not going to end immediately. So I really think as adults, we need to be very self-aware and make sure we are grounded, taking care of ourselves before we start talking to our kids. And Teresa, can you share some techniques in talking to kids about historical moments that are currently happening?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. One of the most important techniques, let's call it, is to not talk in large segments. Make sure you talk in small bite-sized amounts of time. We don't want to overwhelm our kids. It's not good for their brains. So little bits. I also recommend that you spend more time asking questions and talking to them about their perspectives without invalidating them or telling them it's wrong. Just say, hey, I can see that, a little bit of truth there. And also talking about your perspectives, because your kids need to learn from your perspectives. Both need to be shared.
It's really true. And looking for facts and sharing facts rather than just opinions. I mean, opinions are great. Everyone has one, right? But really looking for facts and also asking your kids questions about it may not be the best route. Allowing them to question us as the adults about what's going on will really help us gauge how interested they are. Do they really want to talk about it? We might worry, no, we have to talk about this. This is so important. But if it's not on your kid's radar, what a gift right now, especially for the younger kids. So really following their lead and being that person that's there to help them find answers.
And in finding answers, I also recommend when you are talking to your kids, think inside of your head, is this developmentally appropriate for my child? Let's say, for instance, you have a very young child. The way we would talk to them is something like, hey, they ask, what happened, mom? What happened, dad? And a response would be, there's quite a few people that were really upset and they had a temper tantrum over the loss of an election, and they went a little too far with it. They made some mistakes and they did a lot of hurt and harm to a building. And a lot of helpers came in and stopped it. And we're all safe now. It got unsafe for a little while, but we're going to fix this over time. Sometimes these things take time to fix. If a child's older, then I recommend, asking them about how they feel about it.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. Sorry to cut you off there, Teresa.
It's okay. It was a good timing.
About safety. So the Capitol was unsafe for some time, and then it became safe again because of the helpers. And quoting Mr. Rogers, when things are going badly, look for the helpers. And there were a lot of helpers. And reminding your child that they are safe with you in your home and you will keep them safe can be very reassuring, because it is frightening what happened, especially if they know some details or they happen to keep seeing the images on TV or social media. So reminding them, let's look for the good. Who were the helpers? What were they doing to help? And there's a lot of examples, actually. And then asking them, maybe, what do you think you could have done in that moment if you were there to help? Can really reframe their thinking rather than the tragedy, but how can I make things better?
I love that attitude, Julie. It's also such an opportunity as a parent to talk about what it's like to live through a deeply historical moment when things were so outside of the usual, and to talk about how these moments help us become a better version of ourselves. It helps children do hard things in their future. So this is our opportunity as a parent to do this, to also talk about things like tolerance, that our strengths as a nation lie in our differences and how we manage them, just like in a family. how we manage our differences, because each family member is a little bit different, makes the family stronger as a unit. Great opportunity to talk about these things.
It really is. And, a lot of our kids have had second step as their social emotional learning in school. And one of the big topics is disagreeing respectfully. Not always easy to do. However, what a skill to realize your emotions are getting very big, overwhelming, and that you have to self-care to calm down, to ground yourself in order to have a conversation. And, maybe not all of the adults in the world are showing that skill right now, but we won't give up, and we will keep repeating it over and over. Self-care, 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 and then being able to have these hard conversations in a way that you can feel proud of. And listen, we may never agree 100%, but we can compromise, and we can remind each other that we're here for each other as family, as friends, community, and as a country.
Yes. It's also an opportunity for parents in that people fight. People don't get along all the time. And how do we get through this? That our family fights sometimes, and that we can get through this. Kids need to know that eventually that's what's going to happen, that we have trust in the system, and that we have trust in people coming to a place where they're back to a peaceful homeostasis.
We really hope that some of these tidbits are going to help you in taking care of yourself, as well as supporting your family and your kids. We really appreciate your time and consideration. This is a very important topic and so timely.
Yes, very important. I'll go with one caveat before we end today, is be careful allowing your kids to watch too much news right now. The visual images are scary to kids, so limit that as much as you can, and how much of the visual aspects of this event they see. So thank you.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Teresa.